So now that you've written your chapter 1 and chapter 2, it's time to answer the question of how will you conduct your research? And this brings us to chapter 3. In chapter 3, you are going to tell us the overall plan, the steps you are going to follow to get to chapter 4, to have your results, to have your findings. And in this chapter, we're going to begin with the research design, which is section 1.1 of your chapter 3. So what is the research design? In the research design, you are going to tell us the type of research method you are going to use to conduct your research. And as we all know, we have 3 types of research design. We have the quantitative, qualitative, and the mixed method. So in this video, I'm just going to talk about the quantitative method of research design, because most undergraduate studies use quantitative research design because the qualitative is a bit complex and it takes more time. The quantitative research design, it has types as well. So the first one is correlational. When you are using correlational design, you are just trying to see if there's a relationship between 2 variables, and then if there's association. And then if you're using a descriptive method, it's like describes what's happening, like it talks about what is occurring naturally, it talks about people's behaviors or characteristics. And then the third one is experimental design. In experimental design, you're trying to see if there's a difference between the intervention group and the non-intervention group. It's like you are introducing something, you are administering like medication or something to see if there's a difference, if it has like there's cause and effect, like if there's a causal relationship, something like that. That's experimental design. So based on these types of research design, I'm going to choose one research design to use for our topic, nurses' knowledge and attitude towards clinical nursing research and its application to nursing practice. So based on this research design, if you want to choose a research design for your topic, you have to ask yourself, what does your research question look like? Do you want to see if there's a relationship between 2 variables, or are you looking to compare 2 groups, or do you want to find out why something is happening or what is happening? Those are the kind of questions you should ask yourself when choosing a research design. So if we closely look at our research topic, you see that we are not trying to compare 2 groups. We are not administering any intervention. It's not an interventional research. So of course, we are not going to go with experimental design, and also we are not looking to establish any relationship between 2 variables. So we are not going to use correlational research, even though we might do some kind of like maybe chi-square test, but in chapter 4, but we are just doing it, but that's not our main objective. Our main objective is not to establish a relationship between 2 variables to see whether there's association or not. And if you look at our topic, we are looking to describe nurses' knowledge. We want to describe their attitude. We want to see why they find it difficult to apply research, to conduct research in clinical settings. So with that, we would go with descriptive research design. That would be our research design. Also, you want to tell your readers or your supervisors the time frame. How are you going to collect your data? Is it one point at a time, or you are going to follow your study participants for like a longer period, maybe for 5 years or for 3 years collecting data? So this is where the cross-sectional or the longitudinal aspect of it comes in. So if it's cross-sectional, it means you're just going to collect data one point at a time. Like you collect data this moment, you analyze, and that's all. But if it's longitudinal, you are going to follow your participants for a long period of time. You are collecting data now, and then later on you're still going to collect data maybe after a few years to see if there's any change. So for this study, it's undergraduate study. Of course, we don't have time to be following people for maybe 2 years, 5 years and all that. So you are just collecting your data like at a point in time. So we are going to use cross-sectional study. And me saying that you're going to collect data at one point at a time doesn't mean that if you start collecting data today, you must finish it today. No, that's not what it means. It means that you can collect data just like at a point in time, like maybe you can collect data for like maybe 4 weeks, 6 weeks. It depends on how accessible your research participants are to you, and your resources, your time, your money, and all that. Doesn't mean that you must start today and finish today. No, that's not what cross-sectional study is. So for our research design section, we are going to write something like this: the study design adopted is a descriptive cross-sectional design to assess nurses' knowledge and attitude towards clinical nursing research and its application to nursing practice. So that's all for the research design. So if you want a detailed video on the types of research design, please let me know in the comment section, and see you in my next video.